the last 2 hours of the game. You know, sounds kind of familiar. Oh yeah, that one. For those of you who've been following me for a while, you likely know this, but I've been batting around the idea of making a video on Kingdom Hearts 3 since before the game even came out. I even kept a lot of my thoughts on the game during my playthrough close to the chest. After finishing my playthrough, I wrote a script, 7 whole pages of it. Then I decided the game was missing a lot and I wanted to wait for Remind to see what that brought to the table. Now, about 2 years removed from Remind's release, it's time to finally take a look at Kingdom Hearts 3. My focus will largely be on the plot, with mentions of gameplay here and there, as Kingdom Hearts has a bit more going on plot-wise than Pokemon. But, without further ado, let's get into it. You know that a soccer team has to have a real sense of humor. Here we are, after the game being revealed at E3 2013. Tons of delays, an engine switch, probably tons of design changes and script rewrite. Knowing Nomura, this last one's probably a safe guess. The first thing these guys hit you with isn't a Kingdom Hearts 3 title, but 2.9? This one got me on my first playthrough. It was funny, like, psych guys, it still isn't Kingdom Hearts 3. Get punked!
Downloadable content!
Download Duke Nukem 5!
They still didn't finish the whole game!
However, on my playthrough for this video, I realized something about how fitting 2.9 really is for this section, and how it's much more like a world visit in 2 than it is in 3. But allow me to break that down. In the mainline Kingdom Hearts games, your trips to worlds hold specific goals. In Kingdom Hearts 1, it's to seal the keyholes to stop the encroaching darkness from taking them. Kingdom Hearts 2 gets a bit more complex. There's a keyhole for each world, represented by an object in that world. After that, you revisit the worlds for a plot centered around Organization 13, their goals and how their goals will be furthered by the actions within that world. 2.9's Olympus Coliseum is far more like a Kingdom Hearts 2 revisit section than it is Kingdom Hearts 3's world visits. What exactly is it that the Kingdom Hearts 3 world visits entail? Well, hold your horses there, buddy. We'll get there. But for now, let's stick with 2.9. Sora, after failing his Mark of Mastery test in DDD, and losing all his strength and almost getting Norded, is sent out on a quest to ask Hercules how he regained his strength when he had lost it in Kingdom Hearts 2, which is a great callback. An intro to Olympus keeps this energy going, recapping how Hades had tried plans to conquer the Pantheon in the past, using Terra, Cloud, and Auron, but now he's decided to go with a more classic plan, unleashing the Titans as the stars have aligned, and Hades is loving it, keeping this connection to the past events going. Maleficent and Pete also show up in the world, looking for a black box. This is some mobile game stuff she found out about. It's not really important right now. We'll get there. Also running around are our good friends Organization 13. Superstar Xigbar Lushu. Did I mention there are spoilers in this video? There's spoilers. Anyway, he's actually here to keep tabs on both Sora and Maleficent, as our Remind cutscene reveals. Xigbar is the one who started this goose chase for the black box in the first place. Luxord also presents himself as being a guy who has a much better hand than he lets on, confronting Xigbar on why he'd even start this hunt for the black box, and where he would have found out about it in the first place. This section of the game is actually pretty great. I almost made the whole video just on this alone, in the sort of vein of a Kingdom Hearts 2 video that I like a lot, titled The First Hours of Kingdom Hearts 2 Were Perfect, by the Gaming Brit Show. Shout out to him, by the way. But as I was crafting the concept for this video, I realized there was an issue at the end of this world that stopped me from doing that. An issue that carries on to almost every single Disney world until the end of this game. Disney worlds have borderline nothing to do with the overarching plot in this game. While the franchise has had issues keeping the Disney worlds relevant in every Kingdom Hearts game that isn't Kingdom Hearts 1, they've never quite been on this level. Well, let's go back a bit. Kingdom Hearts 1, the Disney World plots all lead to Maleficent's goal of capturing a Princess of Heart to open the door to darkness and gain ultimate dominion over the worlds. Xehanort's Heartless swoops in at the end, but is executing a plan he helped orchestrate in the first place. All of these things work together. Characters are not all just limited to their worlds. They have outside impact beyond it. Princesses of Heart are brought from their worlds to Hollow Bastion. Keyholes have to be sealed, as mentioned before. Kingdom Hearts 1, though, also introduces an issue that plagues the franchise, especially here in Kingdom Hearts 3. It has little narrative backing, and only really seems to highlight inconsistencies in the plot of these games. Of course, alluding to the rule in which a Keyblade wielder must not meddle in the affairs of other worlds. But just who enforces this no meddling rule anyway? Sure, you could point to powerful figures in worlds like King Trident, but there's not a King Trident in every world. Nor does every world come down hard on a Keyblade wielder meddling. Some, like Jeff Bridges, not the evil one, seem to encourage it. But when a world doesn't like it, what do they even do? Some Keyblade wielders can for sure take King Trident in a fight. There doesn't seem to be some higher council or order-bound force of nature that is keeping the order in check. Just look at all the times the villains interfere in the world's events. No Speed Force demon shows up to take Maleficent away. All of this is just a very long-winded way of saying this rule exists for one reason at this point, to justify sloppy writing. But let me show you. Follow me for a bit on this path of glorified amusement rides. So I've already let the cat out of the bag that these worlds are largely just padding until the end of the game. But what does the game tell the player that these worlds are supposed to be for? Sora needs to regain the power of waking. What is that, though? How will going to other worlds help him find that? Wasn't the whole reason for going to the sleeping worlds in DDD to learn this power? Doesn't Riku have this power? Why can't he just teach it to Sora? He even went back into the sleeping realm to wake Sora up. Is that the power of waking? No. We're told late into the game that the power of waking is actually for traversing hearts to reach worlds? What does that have to do with waking? Even worse, none of the Disney worlds actually help Sora learn the power of waking. Instead, the game says, oh well, you had it the whole time, you goof, for when you needed it. Why? How? What was the point of going to any worlds at all? The answer is, there wasn't any beyond Olympus. But even then, Sora fails to relearn how to gain his strength from Hercules.
Sora, we never got back to your question. Can I help?
It's okay. I think I'm meant to figure it out for myself.
Nomura either didn't know what to do with the plot after Olympus, or he had an idea and he was told no by Disney. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say he just missed an easy layup on where the story goes next to tie the Disney worlds into the game's plot. Sora should have been visiting worlds to secure members for his fight against the darkness. Now we're gonna get into why I mentioned the meddling thing. All Sora does in this game is meddle. The reason Elsa doesn't become a pawn of the organization, why Hercules overcomes Hades in the end, who directly saves Monsters Inc. Sora in his meddling does all of this. And like it's been covered before, no one's really enforcing this rule anyway. Sora's strength is to meddle and help his friends. And while past games have certainly had their issues with this, sorry, bud, can't come save the love of your life. Should have been like Beast and tried harder, I guess.
No vessel, no help from the Heartless. So tell me, how'd you get here?
I simply believed. Nothing more to it.
Oh, hey, what's that? Uncle Scrooge brought this rat to Twilight Town to open a bistro? Well, that's just great! At least we know the World Order isn't a health inspectors union. The maintaining of a world order is just a farce. Characters move from world to world all the time, even with Aladdin here. Homer Simpson goes with Sora and the gang. Nomura should have taken a page from classic Square RPGs for Kingdom Hearts 3, and had the party grow to justify why Sora can't just take on the organization from the get-go. The stakes in this game are supposed to be dire. This alone should justify the breaking of the erroneous rule to keep order. I get why this rule was introduced early on. You don't want Sora to be shown up by the much more famous at the time Disney juggernauts. But now for the final showdown, the game really should have been all about bringing a team together, consisting of Sora's friends, old and new. This would have put Sora's greatest skill on display, his ability to make undying bonds with others, as well as making the final team much more diverse in their skill sets. Not only making the trips in this game mean something, but reinforcing the trips in all of the games, making them mean so much more. So in a game all about friendship, the final clash is fought by a bunch of people Sora really doesn't know all that well.
Who are you people?
But I'm sure this crew Sora put together is an elite group, super ready to take on the threat that faces them. Surely this justifies why everyone else who doesn't have a Keyblade or isn't named Donald or Goofy can't join. Right, guys? Just to start off, everyone having a Keyblade now is exhausting. I think back to the Mr. Plinkett Episode 2 review, where he talks about lightsabers and the overuse of them in the prequels. The same is true now in Kingdom Hearts, in the use of Keyblades. In Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora was THE guy. The Keyblade chose him. Not just anyone could have one of these. Leon's even jealous of the fact. Then in 2, Roxas has one, Riku and Mickey have been shown to have one, Kairi even gets one. From here on, they're everywhere. There was a Keyblade war, where hundreds of people have Keyblades? Just drown Sora in a sea of wielders. It's shocking how many of these things are just around that Donald and Goofy didn't run into someone else who had one before they saw Sora in Kingdom Hearts 1. Now, in a massive narrative crutch, anyone deemed important to the plot has a Keyblade. It's literally dangling keys in front of the player, hoping it will distract them from a lack of substance surrounding the wielder. It diminishes what made Sora and the Keyblade cool in the first place. It was this mystical artifact that villains feared and cool guys wanted. Now you can pick up 12 at the Bargain Mart, a great gift option for your loved ones this Christmas. Not only do these people get wiped out in record time, but without Sora, they'd all just straight up lose. This is par for the course of the whole plot. If you're not named Sora in Kingdom Hearts 3, you cannot alone move the plot forward. Even when the Heroes of Light arrive to the Keyblade Graveyard, Sora has some serious ludonarrative dissonance. In gameplay, he's doing all this. But in cutscenes, he's, well... not. You could say it's because all of his friends were taken, but one...
Pull it together, Sora. We haven't lost them. They still have their hearts. But we have to protect them.
He doesn't even know a lot of these people. 2, not all of them yet. Three, this has happened to him before in Kingdom Hearts 1. Last time, though, instead of giving up, he's invigorated. He remembers what it is that he's fighting for, his end goal.
Giving up already? Come on, Sora. I thought you were stronger than that.
He doesn't just collapse. I think this comes down to a couple of things. There's clearly a desperation for a mid-act low point here. You know, it pads the runtime. But there's one reason that's even more insidious. As we just saw, Sora has regressed from the start of his journey to now. In the past, when faced with insurmountable odds, he didn't give up. On face value, Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't asking anything new of Sora, yet for some reason, he comes out lesser at the end of it. This issue is on full display here at this point in the game. Instead of examining why it is he's seemingly regressed, the plot bails the Warriors of Light out. His main character powers return to him. He goes back in time, uses the power of waking to restore his fallen teammates, then in Remind, he's backing them up again in their most critical moments. When the plot needs him to have all the power, he does. But then on the inverse, when it's inconvenient, they strip all that power away from him, and he's left helpless. This isn't good writing. Continuing on with that, Aqua has to wait around for someone to get her out of the realm of darkness. You might be thinking, well, how else is she gonna get out? And to that I say, there's never been some stated rule that someone else has to get you out from the realm. Riku seemingly waltzes his way out. Mickey gets out and leaves Aqua behind. There's clearly ways to get out. Why did Riku and Mickey come back to the Realm of Darkness? Why didn't they just send her a card? Why didn't Mickey send her a card years ago? But because Nomura wrote himself into a corner, Aqua has to sit here and just wait on the beach for someone to rescue her. This completely eliminates the character agency that was built up for her in 0.2. Next up is Terra. His body is MIA. We'll get to this later down the road. Trust me. Roxas returns using a replica, and good feelings of friendship was apparently all it took to draw his heart out of Sora. Gosh, doesn't Sora feel like a clown now for doing this in Kingdom Hearts 1? Roxas's return here feels unneeded. Sure, he has fans, people like him, me included, and he was a cool guy in Kingdom Hearts 2, but his story ended there. After his clash with Sora in Sora's heart, Roxas's story really comes to a head here. After all this time trying to reject his fate, in these last moments, he finally embraces it and becomes one with Sora. Then, planting the seeds for undermining this acceptance and growth, Sora in DDD sees Roxas again and states that he deserves to be as much of a person as Sora. Roxas doesn't outright agree with this, and to me it felt a lot more like Sora's unwavering positive demeanor. Not that Roxas had to return, at least not in the way that he did in Kingdom Hearts 3. To now have him outside again undoes a lot of the character growth and acceptance, all so he could be out here for the final clash. It's just like we were led to believe nobodies were. Hollow. Next up, though, Kairi and Lee, well, exist. But worst of all is what happens to Riku. I have this half joke I'll often say on stream when discussing Kingdom Hearts lore. Follow me on my stream, by the way, twitch.tv/ShamBTW. But it's that Riku becomes the main character of the franchise after Reverse Rebirth.
What are you making me choose now?
Between the road to light and the road to darkness.
Neither suits me. I'm taking the middle road.
Do you mean the twilight road to nightfall?
No. It's the road to dawn.
While Sora sleeps, the balance of the world rests on him primarily. With the help of Mickey and Ansem the Wise, he combats Organization 13, and even puts a major wrench in their plans to access Kingdom Hearts by removing Roxas and Xion from the board. From there, he's the other playable character in DDD, in which he becomes an official Keyblade Master. You'd think this means something big is ahead for him in Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, not even Sora passed his Mark of Mastery test. So what did our guy get? Well, nothing. In the Realm of Darkness, you fight a big dumb heartless tornado boss a few times. Beyond that, there's nothing really for this guy to do, other than state the obvious.
Way. That was Terra? Master Xehanort was using Terra?
In order for us to recomplete Roxas, he needs a body, right?
Yeah, to put his heart in.
Replicas.
Wow, and Riku didn't even have to go to the toy box to figure that out, like super genius young Master Xehanort had to. Truly, Riku is really pulling his weight. But that's where it ends, because all Riku does is stand around until Sora shows up. They really set up Riku as if he was going to get this huge payoff for the journey that he's been on. He's gone from being a pawn of the darkness to a Keyblade Master. And the best they can do is, whoa, Spinny Heartless! You couldn't let him fight Anti-Aqua? She's right there! And he even hit her with the clapback! I guess it fits though. They couldn't even do a campaign for him in the Realm of Darkness. You know, cut to him every few chapters, actually let him do something in this game, save Aqua, since apparently she needs that. Come on, these assets already exist for 0.2! Even here in the Keyblade Graveyard. Couldn't have him get a moment? You know, just cut this thing down like the cool guy he's been in the past? I mean, he's been fighting these things all game! But hey, at least the Data Org fights are Riku playing as Sora on Sid's PC. So Sora's biggest challenge is actually being done by Riku on keyboard controls. It's the small things, I guess. Then, in the end, even when it seems like everyone's finally doing something, Remind has to bust the door open and say, nah, Sora is inside Kingdom Hearts, and he's helping outside too. You kidding me? How are this dude's friends his power? It seems like they're a handicap. He has to do everything. And then in his final act of carrying this team, he trades his life for Kairi's. He vanishes from the realm forever. But speaking of bringing someone back, Organization 13. Organization 13 this time around exists to...
And how is it any of your business?
Huh?
Read the room, kiddo.
Say mean things to Sora? That's about it? You could say they're scouting out 7 new Hearts of Light, as Marluxia claims, but that goes nowhere. Or, oh! What about making Sora embrace the darkness and become their 13th, as not Billy Zane and Xemnas say they're plotting? But no, that also goes nowhere. It's a bit strange, as they say if Sora veers from this path, they'll destroy him. Maybe it's this? But they don't get what they want either then, do they? He's still not a vessel for them, and their other lights are now extinguished. That's weird. Maybe it's getting the black box?
Luxord is also somewhere about in this age. But after our last meeting, he went in search of something per your order. Isn't that so?
Huh. Oh, that. Right. Well, let's just say that what he's doing will benefit us in the long run. But it's really of no importance right this second. Go on.
Playing your cards close as usual.
Nah, Master Xehanort seems less than enthused about that whole ordeal. Say, wait a sec. Who's in the organization now anyway? We saw these guys in DDD. After all, they only needed one more member.
Then, who do we get to replace the kid?
20 replicas were created by Vexen.
Oh, okay, Vexen? You know, that makes sense, I guess. You can use, like, the replicas as, like, enforcer. Oh. This last-minute roster hashing out really makes it feel like Nomura forgot he showed off a new organization in DDD. The ones we see in DDD clearly have different builds from those in Kingdom Hearts 3. So where did they go? And if they're still looking for members now, who were these people in DDD? I don't know, and neither do you. I get it. You think you do. You're thinking back to DDD, when that true Organization 13 was out of time.
We are out of time.
Yeah, man, I just said that. Why is this, though? Why are they suddenly out of time now? Other than it would be inconvenient for the rest of the plot for them to get a huge W right here, right now. Was time not flowing normally throughout the whole game? Or was time not flowing normally in Kingdom Hearts 1, where Ansem the Seeker of Darkness went back in time? Where did this rule come from? I don't get it. I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, did anyone proofread this plot? Or not? None of this makes sense to me. Or not. None of this makes sense to me.
This world is just too small. Yes, this was where it started. At this point, I still had no idea that I was talking to myself. I am Xehanort from the most distant past. My future self gave me a task to visit the splintered versions of myself in many worlds and ensure they gathered here today.
In the past, you already met Mr. Rogue Guy. Yep, he was there then to make sure you ended up here now.
That's ridiculous.
Sure is. It's too perfect.
This world has been connected.
The point in time that Xigbar mentioned.
Me. Right before my world was swallowed by the darkness.
To move through time, you must leave your body behind. Ansem first sent me on my way, and then placed himself here when the time was right. That is what set all these events in motion. But remember, Ansem possessed Riku, and saw his experiences in real time.
So? That could only tell him so much. How did he know I would be here today?
Don't you see yet? The princess's heart is responding. It has been there all along. Kairi's heart rests within you.
Kairi, thank you.
It has been far too long, friend. You have arrived. I've been to see him. He looks a lot like you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Who are you?
I'm what's left. Or maybe I'm all there ever was. Do you remember your true name?
My true name is... Roxas.
Man, I miss the old times.
Who am I, Axel?
Still got it memorized?
I have the right to know the truth.
The day we met, you got your new name,
I hardly know who I am. What is so wrong with wanting some answers?
You and I sat right here and watched the sunset.
Yeah. This place is home. There's no reason for me to be here. Xemnas says me and Shion are connected to each other through Sora. I don't even know Sora.
You're lucky. Looks like my summer vacation is over.
You're... Roxas! Come on, say something. This could have been the other way around. Huh? But it really has to be you. What do you mean? There are so many hearts that are connected to yours. You're me, so you can feel what I felt. No. Roxas, you're you. We're not the same. I wanted to tell you that you deserve as much as I do to be your own person. Sora, see? That's why it has to be you.
Sora! Roxas! I see you still got that angry look down. Why is it that you always have to glare at me like that?
You're part of this?
Hey, let's hit these plot points in order, Sora.
I know you think you've won, but you lost the moment you dived this far in. You're in the deepest pit of slumber, and you've worn yourself down to nothing.
Well, my heart was aching. That's why I kept going.
Oh, thank you, Sora's heart, for pushing him right into our clutches.
You've been on a path, one we laid out for you. That sigil on your chest is the proof. It's because we need you, Sora. Or, to be more precise, we need what will be left of you. The 13th Dark Vessel. You can move through time, but time itself is immovable. Today, all of my selves throughout time were meant to gather here. And to welcome you, Sora, as our 13th member.
Axel, please. The name's Lee. Got it memorized?
You're not supposed to be here!
Restoration at 97%.
Time travel in Kingdom Hearts is a lot like a sweater tucked away in the back of a closet. It's old, and it's got a loose thread. When you pull on it, it all comes undone. Time travel is notoriously difficult to execute well in fiction. But when you introduce rules to how it works, then proceed to break them all, it leaves the player wondering why the plot unfolds the way that it does. Every choice or mistake is now mired in inconsistencies of time travel, and it detracts from all the other games as a result. Instead of being fully invested, I'm left wondering, why would you bring more members from the past? Wouldn't they run out of time again too? But that rule goes ignored. You can't change events that are destined to happen? Young Master Xehanort heavily implies that Sora's destined to be the 13th, yet Lee stops this from happening. Xigbar even exclaims he's not supposed to be there. Not destined to be there. I'm not the first to point out that there are issues with time travel in Kingdom Hearts, but it is necessary here to highlight just how mistaken its inclusion was from Jump Street. So several members are using replicas to come into the present. All of these, of a different time members, should be a massive liability. But that never happens. I guess Xehanort splurged for the premium time travel package this go around? Huh? What was that? You're saying it gets worse? Well, then play it. What are you waiting for?
All the seats have been filled. And now, the last vessel shall bear my heart like the rest.
Wait a minute. So these guys already had fragments of his heart within them? Okay, got it. So why are they looking for others now? Why not just bring the ones from DDD back? I mean, with time not running out being an issue anymore, and Vexen making more replicas, couldn't he have gotten the same members shown before? Why get even more new members who in large part have their own agenda?
So, why do you think the old geezer took us back? He must know we backstabbed the organization when Xemnas was running it.
I mean, Xehanort must have gotten some pretty elite members to justify throwing away all that work in the last game. Well, who did they get then? There's Penta Xehanort, Sayax, Xigbar, Riku Replica, Xion, Marluxia, Larxene, Luxord, and Vanitas? Some of these others are strange too, but Vanitas makes no sense. At the end of Ventus' story in BBS, Vanitas rejoins.
This may shock you, but we're not the same like you think.
I was just hidden deep inside of you for a really long time.
Or is encumbered. Inside Ventus' heart, when he defeats him, you see this happen. You could say that this is Vanitas from the past, but then why grab this one? Why not the complete one? You know, grab him before he fights Aqua, pump him up with dark cheerleading outside as he fights Ventus for control in his heart. Boom! Like that, you already have the Keyblade and a stronger Vanitas. But once again, that would be too much winning too soon. So what happened here? See, this is where I think that cutscene in Twilight Town was supposed to go. Before the many script rewrites this game likely endured, Sora was probably going to unknowingly free Vanitas and trying to free the others from his heart. Why did this change? No idea. This also goes back to what I said earlier, with the rules on time travel being so sloppy it harms the other game's events. If you can just pull anyone into current time, why not do this for the lights? Who cares where these people are now? Just send someone back in time and go get them. Whether it was good for the plot or not, they do bring him back. And when it's time to finally explain the one thing anyone still wonders about Vanitas, why does he look like Sora? That explanation is...
Your face.
I'm the piece of Ventus that was taken away. And you're the piece Ventus needed to be whole again. So, why shouldn't you and I look exactly the same?
What? I don't see why you would. This isn't exactly satisfying. Is there a person out there that just has the right look to nurture any heart back to health in the Kingdom Hearts universe? Then on the other side of the coin, there's Roxas and Ventus. They just look at each other and think, huh, that's strange. Someone put a mirror up here. So harkening back to when I said, not in the way that he did in Kingdom Hearts 3. Roxas's return, if there was to be one, should have been through Ventus's body. Roxas always seemed to have a disposition to emotions. This could have been explained by him having a part of Ventus's heart, and as a new heart developed within Roxas, it strengthened the heart back to standing on its own, then returning to Sora until it returned with Ventus's body. This would have given Ventus some development, even while being locked away for 10 years. But instead, contrary to the expressed character desire of Ventus, he is sifted apart nice and neat, all to the detriment of character growth. How about the other out-of-time friends? Marluxia, Larxene, Luxord, they're members of the organization which have an ancient Keyblade legend buried within them? Yeah, sure, why not set up more plots for other games, while the current one could have used this valuable screen time for its own plot. Riku Replica is an odd one. I guess it's a twist that he's the choice over Riku Ansem, but it kinda diminishes the death he had in Chain of Memories.
What are you feeling? What happens when a fake dies? One like me. Where will my heart go? Does it disappear? It'll go somewhere. Maybe to the same place as mine. A faithful replica until the very end. That's okay.
which is one of my favorite moments in the franchise. Though he does get another strong send-off.
Hey! What are you doing? Take the vessel!
No. The world already has you. There's someone else who needs the replica more. You know who I mean.
That's some good stuff. Probably the best capitalization of a returning character in the whole game. Send-offs are probably my favorite aspect of this game in a bubble. Examining them alone, they're powerful. They assess a lot about the character in their final moments. It's nice.
What? It is time to move on, boy. There is more to seek. So go forth now and seek it.
Xigbar, of course, comes along for the ride. He's the wild card, even more so in this game. As discussed before, he's also Lushu, the Lost Foreteller. Yet another plot point setting up something else for another game. I love Xigbar, Bragg, Lushu, him, but this plot keeps trying to set up more plots for other games that aren't even out yet and don't really tie into this game at all, when it could be fleshing out the current game's plot instead. Xion is probably the worst choice in-universe for an organization member. They chose her because of her closeness to Sora, but this has disaster written all over it. Also, as a quick side note, is this another Xion made from scratch, or did this one time travel too? Strange, this time travel stuff is whack. But Xion already betrayed the organization once.
Changing sides again?
You acknowledge her closeness to Sora. Sora is great at fostering these bonds, when the plot allows it. Why would any villain group think it's wise to just take this chance? For what gain, even? The out-of-universe reason is so Nomura can have all the fan favorites at the beach party at the end of the game. But the issue is the hoops one has to jump through narratively to get here undermines large swaths of the story thus far. You really want me to believe that Xehanort has fine-crafted this whole plan, and yet he's willing to take a chance on something so obviously flawed and bound to blow up in his face? Another narrative red flag is Xehanort. The time travel thing was just unnecessary here. But to get all the famous faces to look exactly the same as they did when you last saw them. Xehanort is time travel to the present, but this creates a massive problem. Where's Apprentice Xehanort? You know, the dude that made Xemnas and not Billy Zane in the first place? This guy who should have appeared when recompleted, not the old man version? Where did this guy go? Not using this character and instead using Xehanort not only opens up plot holes, it's a missed opportunity to show some character growth visually. It's been 10 years of Terra grappling internally with Master Xehanort. Having him visibly aged would have gone to great lengths to signify this. Instead, nothing. For all intents and purposes, Terra has only been possessed for maybe 24 hours due to this time travel stuff. It's like a bad vacation. This whole moment could have been so powerful, seeing his other two friends the same when reunited, but he bears the scars of his actions. You know, since Aqua does, at least mentally. Would have gone a long way, but nah, everyone has to look exactly the same. Maybe in the next game they can all wear stylish plaid like they're in some indie band. So what is it that the central villain of all of these games even wants? Xehanort's ultimate goal has been kept a secret until this game. In the last game, it was revealed that Organization 13's true goal was to make 13 Xehanorts by divvying his heart up among the members, to have 13 darknesses to clash with 7 lights. But where did this even come from? Did Organization 13 clash with 7 lights at the Keyblade Graveyard to form their Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2? The answer is a very clear no. I mean, it seemed pretty clear. Just listen to Sayax here.
Pitiful, heartless, mindlessly collecting hearts. The rage of the Keyblade releases those hearts. They gather in darkness, masterless and free, until they weave together to make Kingdom Hearts.
And it's not like they messed up. Kingdom Hearts is very visibly here in Kingdom Hearts 2. Artificial or not, it's here. And we're told the organization's goal has always been Xehanort's goal. If that was their true goal, why does Xemnas enter Kingdom Hearts in Kingdom Hearts 2 anyway? Why doesn't he enact Xehanort's plan when he enters? Oh shoot, right, his plan! So in Kingdom Hearts 3, Xehanort, in the final hours of the game, reveals his plan to recreate the world from scratch, with himself as top dog, orchestrating people's lives using darkness to prevent others from falling to it fully. He's been striving for this for 75 years, since having one talk with the Master of Masters and a peek at other worlds. But why? When did he ever in his actions in the past games reflect this goal? He wanted the Keyblade, he wanted Kingdom Hearts, but to recreate the world, to be a benevolent dictator? I just don't get how he got here. From leading Terra to completely fall to darkness, as well as his chosen true 13, or splitting Vanitas from Ventus into a being of pure darkness. For a guy who wants to lead people away from that, he sure allows it to happen a lot. You could say that this is a means to an end, but the actions surrounding his goal are the only things given to assess the efficacy of his goal, and if he's willing to compromise his morals like this at every turn, I'm doubtful on his strength of his convictions. Sora seems to agree, stating what basically amounts to, "Wow, Xehanort, that is not very cash money of you. Did anyone ever give you permission to do that?" Gosh, Sora, that'll really make him change his mind. Wait a minute, he changes his mind? Sure, he gets slapped around a bit, and his old friend Mark Hamill shows up to tell him to give up. This feels so hollow. This has been a plan for 75 years for this guy. Countless versions of it. Countless versions of himself! He's so close, and he just surrenders? Part of me feels like this was done to play up the Master of Masters, and how he was the one who pushed Xehanort to go on this path in the first place. But instead it just makes Xehanort look so lame. All we get at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3's main plot is, oh well, I'll just go play chess again in the city in the sky with my buddy Drake. It robs the Xehanort saga of a strong conclusion, all because it wants to play up the next big guy, the Master of Masters. So Sora beat the big bad on all fronts, but the whole reason he started his journey was to find his friends. He found Riku, but when it seemed like they would finally be together, he lost Kairi again. Sora rushes off to the final world, realm between sleep and death, to see if he can find a lead on Kairi. Chirithy, Dream Eater who resides in this world, explains to Sora that he can go back to before the clash between light and darkness in the Keyblade graveyard. Chirithy explains that Sora can't change fate again this time, and has to accept how things are. But Sora's already been changing fate left and right. This doesn't make any sense. Why can't he do it now? Well, just another time travel rule that just gets ignored. Oh well. Anyway, Sora refuses to take this lying down, and he's gonna Groundhog Day his way to a living Kairi. But this does come at a cost. Sora's life in the world he knew and his power of waking. You know, whatever that was. It seems now that he's trapped in a world beyond those thought to exist, the world of Quadratum. Sora's ultimate fate at this time is unknown. What is revealed is that the Master of Masters seems to have had a rather large hand in all of it. But it is nice for now to see actions actually have consequences in Kingdom Hearts, and I'm gonna hold on to that while I can. Sora's sacrifice leads into the other side of Remind, the hunt for Sora. He's been gone for a year, the Radiant Garden crew is finally allowed to have some much-deserved screen time. My issue with this is that it's too little, too late. Tai Yasu, the co-director of Kingdom Hearts 3, did an interview shortly after the release of base Kingdom Hearts 3, talking about how the franchise had original characters to focus on in the story. Later, Nomura followed up saying it was due to story and time constraints in development. While there is a lot going on within Kingdom Hearts 3's plot, as this video has gone through in painstaking detail, if you're running out of time when you start development in 2013 and then finally release in 2019, it's not that you didn't have enough time, it's that your plan and utilization of time was just completely off. While leaving these characters out seems like a small design choice, it actually reflects a much larger misunderstanding of what these games do best, as well as the in-universe standing of Sora as a character. In the meta sense, these games are a melding of the best of Square Enix and the best of Disney, with Sora, the player character, serving as a bridge between these worlds. perfectly uniting them. This is reflected in the story, gameplay, and even his classic appearance. He's an anime character with Mickey Mouse's big shoes. Gameplay and story are no different. In the past, you would meet and fight alongside both Square Enix and Disney Legends. The later games largely slack on this aspect on the Square front, and this interview largely revealed why. Nomura does not see the importance in this representation. It's good to think your characters can stand on their own, and a lot of them can, but that alone is not what these games are for. The original characters should be standing right next to these industry titans, not snubbing them. In-universe, it's even worse to throw these characters by the wayside. The Radiant Garden crew are Sora's oldest allies, barring anyone from Destiny Islands. Though some of those were Final Fantasy characters too. And they got snubbed fully from Kingdom Hearts 3. Take that, losers! No beach party for you! But Sora's friends are his power, his connections, how he forms them, and how closely he holds them. And then to just say, nah, we don't really need them anymore, misses the point entirely. They're important narratively for Sora, and for the game's existence as a whole. And to largely ignore them or remove them makes the world feel far less alive. At least they're real ones though, and they're still looking to help find Sora, after they were ignored all game. I hope Nomura and co. reconsider their stance on the importance of Final Fantasy / Square Enix characters in the future installments. Not just because they're cool, but because Sora shines when his friends are around him, and below. Whether that be Disney, Square Enix, or original to Kingdom Hearts, they bring out the best in him in very different ways, all of which hold great importance to this franchise. Kingdom Hearts as a franchise is no stranger to setting up plot points that won't be capitalized until much later on. But the level at which Kingdom Hearts 3 does this far exceeds past games' teasers and minor hints. From the Black Box, Lost Masters, a girl held captive, Ven's Dream Eaters, Keyblade Legacy of the organization members, the Master of Masters, Varium Rex, Yzora, Quadratum. This game spends a lot of its runtime setting up plot points for another game. It's as if Nomura was tired of Xehanort and he was ready to move on to his new toy.
Oh, I forgot. You're broken. I don't want to play with you anymore.
This caused Kingdom Hearts 3's conclusion to feel hollow. It's kind of like, you don't really care about this conclusion, so why should I? With the franchise moving on to its new narrative arc, I do hope that there's more focus put onto the story presented and how it ties into the gameplay, without needing a remind to do patchwork and attempt to fix aspects of the story and refine gameplay. The glaring issue this game suffers from is it never quite gets past the stereotypical view of the franchise.
All the stuff you love from Kingdom Hearts is here. Different Disney worlds, Final Fantasy cameos.
It is just Disneyland in your home. It boasts beautiful spectacles,
Unreal,
and romps with some of your favorite Disney characters. But there's no substance to these meetings. It's a shame, because that's not what Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 were. The overarching narrative of those games was always present, regardless of what world the player found themselves in, and the gameplay provided a challenge and depth to those seeking it. And you know what? Thanks to Remind, at least the gameplay aspect is there for Kingdom Hearts 3. It is quite good, actually, especially with the new bosses, Keyblades, and combat options. And even before that, things like shot locks, Keyblade transformations, wall running, flow motion, and links that are all mechanics from past games that really get refined in this one. It's one of the better combat systems in Kingdom Hearts, and for sure Osaka Team's best outing. Kingdom Hearts 3 is a complex package. A lot of real-world events and in-universe factors made it that way. Plot makes no sense whatsoever. It tries to do far too much and ignores things it should have been doing instead. But every time I boot it up, I can't help but enjoy it. I guess that's why Kingdom Hearts 3 really is my favorite flawed mess. Thank you for watching all the way to this point. If you made it here, comment an eyes emoji. Please like, subscribe, and share this video around. Follow me on Twitch as well. Later!